What is going on? Man, we back in black in the building. Shout out to everybody out there at the Core Plantation doing what they need to do to survive. We're going to have a quick one today. We went a little long on the last podcast, so I hope that information sink in. But now we finna hit y'all with a real quick one. Shout out to everybody out there in Arizona, the homegirls, Stein Latanya in Arizona, definitely in the building. Shout out to everybody in Vegas. It's hot as a motherfucker out there. Power bill high. So shout out to everybody out there, all my siblings, everybody handling business, going to work. You gotta go to work. Shit, cause on payday, that shit gonna hurt. Man, shout out to the homegirl, Philly, Shawnee, definitely in the building. Shout out to the homegirl, Erica, Florida, aka Florida, definitely in the building. Oh man. Shout out to my brother Dave from No Compromise and James Youngblood. Georgia and Texas definitely in the building. Go check out Mike Drop. He be dropping some real shit on there too. His shit is dope. I need to check out his shit. Now, you talking about him and David Day podcast? Elite. Go check out that shit, man. He on YouTube and he's on Instagram, both of them. Check it out, man. Mike Drop. David No Compromise, man. Come on, man. You gotta go check these things out, man. So shout out to my brothers. And shout out to the homegirl, Jerica, also. That's my homegirl. And shout out to the homegirl, Melina, all the way in North Carolina, a.k.a. North Kakalaka. So shout out to her. Man, I got a great subject for you. The blue pill or the red pill? I'm going to make this relate to a lot of different things, but we're going to use a little bit of the matrix to kind of determine what our thought process should be. So let's get it. Hey. The reason why I said the red pill, the blue pill or the red pill, let's digest that. If we watch The Matrix, in The Matrix, you take the blue pill, you just go back to sleep. And it's going to rock you to sleep. The red pill is going to wake you up and show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. But once you take the red pill, you can't go back. So we can relate this to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Democratic Party is going to smile with you and say nigga behind your back. And they're going to use certain things to propagate their agenda, right? And they're going to pander. Both parties will. But the blue party will definitely smile with you and be the most vicious, vile, anti-black, racist group of people you would ever meet. See, people think because they Democrats that they like niggas. That's not how it works. So, and then the red pill is the Republican Party. In a sense, the Republican Party don't like niggas. They're going to tell you they don't like niggas. They're going to have their card-carrying, Confederate flag driving, good old boy mentality having white people. But which one would you rather have? The one that tells you up front, I'm a white extremist. I don't deal with black people. My whole mission and goal is to make sure our race is the most powerful. Would you want that? Or would you want an executive in a boardroom that's too afraid and too cowardly to tell you how he really feels about black folks? That's why I feel like a lot of foundational black Americans are waking up and see what's going on. And they have a different understanding. Like, no, we not doing that. And that's why you see a lot of black people, in particularly, like, well, shit, we've been voting for the Democrats and they ain't done shit. So let's go with the real white racist motherfuckers that's just gonna tell us to our face. But a lot of people are in the matrix as well. A lot of people want to take the blue pill smoothie. They don't want to just swallow the pill and drink water. They want to put it in a smoothie. Put some sea moss in it. What? Some grapefruit juice. What else you gonna put in there? Some celery. Some cranberry. What else you gonna put in there to make it a nice little shake and just, blend it all together so, the pill, you can just swallow it and go to bed. Well, that's not how the way life works. And you have to seek out information to give you a different perspective of what's going on. Like I said before, a lot of us blue pill smoothie, a lot of us work at these core plantation jobs. Let me tell y'all something. A lot of us work at these core plantation jobs And we are in the matrix. And we think that just because the dominant society tells us we have a future, that for some sort of reason, they like us. And, you know, we get a pat on the head. We get all excited. Everybody goes through that at the core plantation. Some people don't. Some people who are socialized early in life, they're like, fuck all these motherfuckers. I'm here to get paid and get the fuck on. Well, me, I never sought out moving up the corporate ladder because I'm kind of not really into none of that shit. You know what I mean? Even when I was young, I more wanted to make money. See, I was more of the mentality like, if I gotta be smiling and creating relationships with people so I get paid, cool. I'll do that. You notice I said so I can get paid. Like, I ain't really I want to be somebody's supervisor type shit. I ain't really into none of that. I don't want to be in charge of no grown ass people making up all kinds of goddamn silly Simon ass excuses of why they can't come to work, and I ain't got time for that. I don't want to be, you're just a glorified babysitter, and I don't want to be bothered with that shit. So, that's what it is. But there are some that, you know, would like to move up that social and political hierarchy of needs. And for those who want to do that, and a lot of black folk that want to do that, hey man, I challenge you. Do you know what you're getting yourself into? Are you willing to denounce who you are mentally, subconsciously, to get half of what they're going to pay you your worth is to be somebody's supervisor? That's the question. You know, are you willing to try your best to make sure you put your first foot forward, to lead by example, to give other foundational black Americans that information? I'm not talking about tethers and coons and sambos and immigrants. I'm talking about foundational black Americans. Because a lot of us, we get on these corporate plantation jobs and get to treating our own like shit. I've worked around several corporate plantation foundational black American supervisors, and they were all horrible. Horrible. They treat you all fucked up. They talk crazy to you, act like you don't exist. But let a dominant society motherfucker or another racial group walk in there. They smiling, they cheesing. I've seen it and witnessed it all. I've been on the receiving end of it. Straight up. Straight up. Shout out to my homeboy Donnie. Man, me, Donnie, man, we worked together a while ago, almost 10 years ago. We worked at the Corp Plantation, and we experienced that. A lot of it. We experienced way more than what everybody else experienced. And I don't expect people to understand where I'm coming from because I don't really care. But what I can say is a lot of us want to take that blue pill and go to bed. They don't want to take the red pill. See, a lot of motherfuckers look at both parties as if one is better than the other. That's the only difference between the red pill and the blue pill when you're dealing with the matrix. And the red pill is gonna wake you up and let you know exactly what the fuck is going on. The Republican Party just gonna tell you to your face they don't like black people. And they don't expect to put you in no position to win. And don't ask them to put you in no position to win. The blue pill gonna rock you to sleep. What do the Democrats do? Like I said before, y'all noticed when the DNC had their thing in Atlanta, they got I know I said it, thought she was like, not her reading. No, she did. She did not read her own. That contract was for $10,000. $10,000. And she up here making up excuses talking about, I didn't read it and, I really needed the money. You really needed $10,000? You really needed $10,000? Wasn't it you and your mama there? And y'all needed $10,000? What y'all need $10,000 for? I hope it was to save the crib or something. Because if you didn't read no contract for no $10,000, I'm pretty sure you could have made more money doing something else. But I digress. I'm just saying, a lot of us, we don't want the information. I'm gonna tell you that a lot of Western Coast foundational black Americans, they're not prepared to go to the South and deal with real racism. See, West Coast racism is subtle racism. They smile with you. Hey, Jerome, you watched the Laker game? I can't believe they did that. It's so funny how you even look at the Lakers organization and they try to blame it on a black coach. But then they hired this white coach, JJ Redick, who, the white knight syndrome, the white savior. And who do y'all think it was who brung him into that fold? A foundational black American. Now, I'm not talking about LeBron's skill set on the court, but what I am going to talk about is That's what a lot of us foundational Black Americans have to learn and grasp the social construct of how things work. You need the social game rules as well. Like, you need to know, okay, how do I need to do this? Because I need to understand that I'm making moves that not just affect me, but affect a lot of different Black folk. And you don't want to frame this narrative at all. But it was already framed. I already debunked that. I told y'all this already. They wouldn't let Magic Johnson fire Luke Walton. They let him walk off. And then he went to Sacramento and got his ass fired out there. Because Sacramento was like, well, we don't have no loyalty to you. You're fucking fired. Right? So Magic was like, every time I tried to fire him, a white person had to be in the room. Right. But with Darvin Ham, they didn't need a white person in the room. They just fired that black ass nigga. All right, get the fuck on. And what I didn't like about it is you brought this white coach in here under the guise of the white knight, white savior mentality, and then we wonder why like nobody is outraged at that instant, but we'll be outraged at our job when we see it happen every day. Well, this shit is happening every day. It's happening every day. I don't give a fuck about LeBron James trying to use nepotism, get his son in the league. Dog, you up a Billy. Your son should be working somewhere else and creating opportunities for other foundational Black Americans. You already got money. I'm not saying you're not supposed to always get money, but the way that was handled was very distasteful. Very distasteful. You know, and that's the thing too. When you look at things, you look at how everybody's using our talking points, because we are taking the red pill, not the Republican pill, the actual red pill to awaken us, so we can understand what's going on. Because a lot of people don't want to understand. You know, I'm gonna tell this. This is quite funny. David, Jay Youngblood, Shawnee Allbot, y'all gonna be laughing. Tajay, y'all gonna be rolling. I please leave your comments. I appreciate y'all leaving y'all comments, because you know y'all be having me laughing. Now look, when you go to the corporate plantation, you need to know the corporate structural, social game rules. What to say, what not to say, when to be, you know, stone-faced, when to be quiet, slow to speak, eager to hear, especially when you're new at a corporate plantation. A lot of times, foundational Black Americans, we get on these corporate plantations, we're young-minded, when we're emotional about things that we shouldn't be emotional about, and we don't know how to just get, quote, quote, the bag. So there was an instance, this was a minute ago, there was an instance where, you know, I met these, you know, foundational Black American sisters, very good sisters, right? You know, we chop it up, you know, we have, you know, constructive conversations about the corporate plantation. Not divisive, but constructive. Like, hey man, like, woo, 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 maybe we should do this, right? Now, I always suggest that people read these policies and procedures at any corporate plantation you go to, because it's important. For information is key. And a lot of times, foundational Black Americans, we don't want to read these policies and procedures. We don't. This is a true story. I don't need to make none of this shit up. And a lot of times we don't want to read them because we're so emotional and we're so happy to get it, and we think everything is fine. Well, there was an instance, like I said, this isn't nothing new to me. Throughout my tenure at any corporate plantation, it's always some elderly foundational Black American woman who is an ass kisser and a mammy and wants to be seen ass kissing. And I suggested something to this elderly lady. Oh, she snapped right away. Oh, you know, to let me know this isn't her first job and all that stuff, but this is a new bitch. You the new booty. I'm the 10-year motherfucker. So I'm trying to give you some game. But this always happens. But me reading the things that I've read, I know not to fly off the handle. I know not to go out of my way to try to fuck over another foundational Black American. I don't do that. I just give you the advice and I step back. So after the advice, you know, we're kind of like agreeing to disagree, right? But what I did was I just handled it with elegance and grace, you know, just eloquence, and, you know, I was just, basically what I was doing was I was trying to give the information, but enough so you want to go look for it for yourself about policies and procedures and SOPs. And you know, when you work at a corporate plantation, every corporate plantation has policies and procedures, things you're supposed to do versus things you're not supposed to do versus things up for interpretation. You know how that goes. Y'all know, y'all have all worked at corporate plantations. Sister want to get upset. She wants to kiss ass and kind of, I guess, call herself checking me. I just laughed. Other people were like, man, what the fuck is this bitch problem? Whoop, whoop. I said, don't worry about it. And this is exactly what I said. Those type of people that always want to challenge me at the corporate plantation, they always lose. And then they always tuck their tail between their legs because they get slapped the fuck down by the dominant society, either directly or indirectly. And then that's when they want to come over here like, man, fuck them motherfuckers, all this other shit. I'm not telling you to go on a job, go on a corporate plantation and hate everybody. No, you go on a corporate plantation, do your job, hush the fuck up, and go home. Stop socializing with everybody. Stop going to these corporate plantations and telling all your business. That's why I'm going to write a book. Y'all think I'm dead. I've been jotting because I got so many formulas of how you could attack so many things and be successfully independently without moving up this corporate ladder and doing all this other shit. Because black folk, Foundation Black Americans, we have to establish an understanding. Do you want fictitious power or do you want the money? Because you're barely gonna get the money. You're not getting any power. So that was one instance. And the instance was basically this. I remember Tariq Nasheed, shout out to him. I read his book, very good book. That book had me rolling because he was saying some real shit. And he said when he worked at this telemarketing place, he beat another motherfucker out, but they wanted to propagate like another person beat him. And then he didn't get his bonus or something. I gotta go read the book again. And he was like, fuck this, I'm out. This shit ain't for me, right? Well, in the corporate plantation world, they are always gonna create inner civil rivalry. Meaning like when you are at a job, your teammates are like your siblings or your family, right? Most of the time you get along good with your family when you don't see your family all the time and you keep your distance and you do your own thing, right? Right. And sometimes we have a tendency to want to sambo, buck dance, coon, and mammy and be performative in front of the dominant society. Whether it's indirectly or directly, maybe out of emotion, maybe because we feel like they'll look at us more, look at me, we become a peacock, we want to show our feathers, that. Well, doing this transaction with this elderly Foundation of Black American, I would assume, I just was polite about what needed to be done, what not. Look, I wouldn't roll that way, whatever. Like I told you, she called herself being performative. Well, she wanted to be the most outstanding, willingest load carries the willingest ass carries the load. That's what she wanted to do. Well, guess what? She carried the load and didn't get shit. And I was basically like, look, you want to just do your shit and get the fuck on. All this trying to be the number one performer, you ain't gonna get shit. That's managerial tactics 101. You're not gonna get any more than what you're worth. I've been here I'm telling you, I've been on this. I've been studying this. I really started studying corporate plantations probably around 2012. I didn't have no books to reference, but I started really paying attention to, like, we would have these conversations at my mama's house every Saturday and Sunday. This is a fact. You can ask any of my siblings. Every Saturday and Sunday, we would have conversations about work. And we would hear my mom's perspective, then my older sister's perspective, and then my perspective. And then, my younger siblings, they would give their perspective because they were working too. And then my aunt's perspective, we would hear her perspective of what goes on, but it would mainly be like my mom and the kids, and they would kind of laugh, listen to what the fuck we would be talking about. So I've been really studying since like 2012. This is a fact. So now it's 2024. What kind of knowledge do you think? Because now I'm pulling knowledge from, it's 6 of us. So I'm getting information from my siblings. I'm constantly hearing what my moms went through. Other people. So I'm kind of like putting it together, and then I'm applying what I'm listening to when I go to the corporate plantation, this is before I started really reading. So once I started reading, because I always felt like I was missing something, once I started reading, it was a rap. It was a fucking rap, y'all. I was like, oh, hell no. Like, Neely Fuller Jr.'s The United Independent Compensatory Counter-Racist Code Ethics. And no, I'm not reading that. I remember, you know what I remember? You know why I always talk about that book? Because for one, the shit that he talks about is real, the four-wall effect. I don't believe when we were having Saturday and Sunday family time at my mom's house, that wasn't the four-wall effect. We had constructive conversations. I almost wish I would have recorded them and started putting them on YouTube right now. Those would be legendary. All the conversations we would have and the shows we would watch and have dialogue about it after we would watch them. Oh man, it's priceless. But what ended up happening at the end of the day, this sister, it backfired. Kissing ass, you trying to outwork everybody, you stressing yourself out, and then when you ain't get shit, now it's like, oh, I don't want to be here. But this is the same foundational Black American woman was kind of trying to chastise me in front of everybody and trying to tell me I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. So what do you think all those other black people did? Bitch, that's what you get. Warren told you already. And let me tell you how I knew. Because the other black people, after they realized what I was saying was facts, because I don't have to go on the job and be like, hey, my nigga. Nope. I know how to talk constructively. I know how to say, hey, you might want to read policy such and such and such before you conduct yourself in a disorderly fashion, because you will come across as a disgruntled employee. And once you come across that way, y'all know how it is at corporate plantations. Once you come across as a disgruntled employee and you come across as aggressive with the disgruntledness, it's a wrap. They're going to put you on the radar and you out of here. But I didn't get that. So, with that being said, she took the blue pill smoothie until the red pill kicked in. Because somebody secretly was like, well, bitch, you're taking it anyway. And a lot of black folk that, you know, heard, saw what I said, they came back to me, was like, Warren, not only was you right, exactly what happened. That bitch ain't get shit. Now the bitch talking about she don't want to work this job and all this other stuff. They're like, Warren, how you know? I'm like, look, you have to study. You have to learn this information. People think getting a job that's the first part. That's the easy part, getting a job. The hard part is maintaining it. This is the corporate plantation. Remember, the system of racism, white supremacy is not only global, it is prevalent today, even if you're taking the blue pill. People think because they're taking the blue pill that it does not affect them, because they feel like their ass kissing is different from the last 100,000 niggas that ass kissed. You're no different than the next motherfucker. We have to stop thinking that we are better than the next foundational Black American because we taking the blue pill and they're looked at as crazy or a vigilante or a threat. Like, we have to learn how to be team concept. Dr. Claude Anderson, racism is the competition of resources. That brings me to my other point that I want to make. And no, that lady didn't reach out to me. That sister didn't reach out to me because, you know, we don't like to give each other the satisfaction like, damn, dog, you was right. You know how that is. But there were some other sisters, you know, brothers that I met. And I'm giving them the information and game about how you move within the corporate plantation structure, you know, but I'm giving them little bits at a time because I can tell how emotional they are. Well, I want y'all to really listen to this because I'm gonna break down. That's why I'm glad I've read these books, and I'm going to break it down for you in layman's terms. Now, I'm breaking down the game. There was training and stuff like that. You know, you go through your training and your training modules and stuff like that before, you know, they actually release you to get on the floor or whatever, however your structure is. Y'all know how it is, whether you work at a casino or you work at the city, the county, the state. I don't care where you work at. Ain't no big I's and little U's. Most corporate plantations, the structure is the same way. You get your training, you know, woo, right. Hear me out, David, James Youngblood. Now watch this. You know, some foundational Black Americans, you know, they reach out like, hey, you know, man, hey, Warren G, woo, woo, woo. Like, look, this is how you move, woo, woo. This is not what's supposed to be going on. This is what's supposed to be going on. I ain't gonna get into specifics. Now, here's the caveat. All the information I was giving them was a fact. No printers, facts. No printers at all. No jet printers, all facts. Right? All right. Now, there's a dominant society, LGBTQ, in the department too. So, as I'm giving them this information, there was a phone. There was a chain text that starts about, hey man, what's going on? It's a bunch of us in there, a bunch of foundational Black Americans, black folk, But then the dominant society, LGBTQ, is in there too, because you know how sisters are. LGBTQ, especially other racial groups, they think they can come around us and use our slang, our quotes, everything. And a lot of sisters, foundational Black American, we just smile with it. So, and ain't no diss. I'm glad they did that, because I said, now I'm going to see. Y'all know, look, I'm like the feds. No, I'm not going to tell them, don't fuck with him, no nothing. No, because they can't handle that type of information. That's too much for them. Remember when Morpheus awakened Neo and he fucking threw up and he was like, I apologize. Sometimes when a person's too old, we don't awaken them. We just let them stay asleep because they can't handle it. So I knew they couldn't handle it. So I said, I'm not going to say anything. I want them to be friends with this LGBTQ, LMNOP, XYZ, dominant society guy. Let them sister girl and all that other stuff. Oh, I let them kiki laugh. I'm laughing too. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to wait until this person comes out the bag, because they're gonna come out the bag. Now, long story short story long, I'm giving them the game. When I say the game, I'm gonna encompass it all. Policy, procedures, how to move within this corporate plantation. Don't be emotional. Don't do this. Don't do that. They did the opposite of everything I told them. Now, this same information I'm giving my foundational Black Americans, he's getting it too. So let me tell you the difference between dominant society and black folk. Dominant society people, listen to me good, y'all. They know it's their game. They know the social game rules, and they know what they can get away with and what they can't get away with, because they know it's their system. Now, this dominant society, LGBTQ, was very emotional, going in on other people, taking some of the information I'm passing on. I mean, he arguing, fighting. They don't say shit to him. They kind of alienated, but they too afraid, because a lot of the people that were in charge at this in this particular department were foundational Black Americans. So you know how we get when it's a dominant society person talking crazy. We start buck dancing and opening our eyes. Eyes are sorry. Even if we in charge of them, eyes are sorry. So they're just letting him dictate the pace of a lot of shit. And he's taking what I'm saying and he's causing all these problems and saying everything. Now, once he said, well, I don't know if this information is right. I said, I guarantee you, these foundational Black Americans are going to listen to him and not listen to me. The white man's ice is colder. Now, this LGBTQ, LMNOP, XYZ, ain't worked at the company, the corporate plantation, nearly as long as Warren. But Warren don't know what the fuck he talking about, because we don't have intrinsic value in ourselves or anyone that looks like us a lot of the times, because that's the social engineering that we've dealt with. So follow me. I didn't say nothing, and I let it carry on. And I'm like, eventually, this LGBTQ motherfucker's gonna come out the bag. So he's trying to hype everybody up to get emotional and all this other stuff. And I kept saying, don't get emotional, because you want to keep your job. But he's getting emotional. Guess what, y'all? He already had another corporate plantation job lined up. So he didn't give a fuck. Once he figured he didn't like the job, guess what he did? He didn't give a fuck. He was already getting ready to leave. But guess who's still at the company? Us foundational Black Americans. Guess who followed some of his suit in his lead? Some of those foundational Black Americans. And that's not it, y'all. That's not it. I mean, it got to the point where I was like, I'm done. And I just didn't say anything else in the chain of Texas or nothing. I just completely was like, all right, I gave you the information. I'm done. I'm about to shake. I'm about to make moves. What I normally do. And y'all gonna be where y'all gonna be at. And I'm gonna be in a whole nother lane. That's on you. Boom. Then comes out the LGBTQ dominant society motherfucker. He shakes. Now, just let y'all know, you have to understand, when people not only have been at these corporate plantations longer than you and they are telling you how to move and they've been there for a significant amount of years, you should take heed and listen. But a lot of the times we don't, because we're emotional. We want to party. We want to hang out. We don't want to see about getting the bag. Now that LGBTQ, because I watched it all, y'all. I watched it all. Oh, he got emotional and all that, but that motherfucker secured him a job somewhere else and got the fuck up out of there. He caused all that shit, had everybody all in an uproar, and got the fuck out of there, right? They still didn't want to believe me. Well, I don't know, Warren, because they're saying this, and those other people are saying this, and they in charge. I'm like, all right, well, do what you do. Do what you do. So, fast forward, I was right about everything. And I was waiting for that one thing, because I just kept saying, that dominant society motherfucker gonna come out the bag. Because motherfuckers be thinking, because they are a part of that community, that they can't be anti-black racist. Well, check this out, y'all. I'm saying this shit, and this is gonna make y'all laugh. On the chain text, right? There's a chain. So, and I got him. I kept him. Chain text. Now, I had to format what I said, because I want you to come out the bag. Because you're not a good old boy that's gonna be like, look, I ain't never really been around black people. Like, no, you want to know, girl, child, and all this other shit. Taking a lot of foundational black American women's talking points. It was almost like the nigga had watched one season of the house reels of real. I said reels. Tasha, you know what I'm talking about. What's that shit we used to talk about at Mama's house? The wives, the housewives, the one with Candy Burris on there. Cause I can only remember her because she's from the group Escape. And y'all know how they got all them sayings, child and all that. They were spelling it, and I thought they were saying Chile. Chile. I'm like, what's Chile? And then eventually I was like, oh, it's child. But anyway, he's using all those mannerisms and this and that. And I'm laughing because I'm like, yeah, we gonna see. And this is on my dead mother, rest in peace. I was like, this nigga's, I know if I just keep quiet, Warren, he gonna come out the bag. Because I want to be like, this nigga ain't your friend either. But I ain't gonna say nothing because I wanted them to see that these LGBTQ dominant society motherfuckers are not your friend. They your friend until it's time to divide that pie. Then they not your friend. And then they gonna claim whiteness all day long, all day strong, and talk shit about niggas. Well, guess what? I just happened to check the chain, check the thing. I was like, man, normally my dominant society sisters and this brother, they talking all day long. You know how it go. They talking all day, and I'm just watching, laughing like, wow, this is interesting. This is a true story, man. I got the phone, I got the text messages. I just don't want to put nobody out there. And plus, these sisters are still working and handling business, and they don't know. And then what comes across the chain is a picture, a mugshot of a black rapper or somebody black with an emoji from the LGBTQ dominant society laughing. Then them sisters got on cold real quick. That's racist. And guess what his reply was? His reply was, I'm an ally and I'm a part of the LGBTQ. They was like, that don't mean you can't be racist. I have not even said anything because I don't want to perpetuate the situation, and I don't want these sisters to put themselves in a position where they could, lose their employment at their corporate plantation, because the dominant society is very vindictive. And they'll take everything you say and then go back to the job. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. So I just let it flow, breeze over. But the moral of the story was, these sisters didn't want to believe nothing I had to say at all. And then when things started to reveal itself through the dominant side, then they wanted to kind of believe it when he was like, kind of like, well, maybe Warner's right. Well, Warner, maybe you are right. But before he wasn't saying that. This is what I mean about other racial groups, including the dominant society. They know we are disenfranchised and disaggregate people. Because, real talk, you shouldn't have never even added him to any chain text amongst foundational Black Americans, because the dominant society is not going to do it with you. Like Dr. Francis Chris Welsing said, tell us what's being said when we're not in the room. They'll tell you what's being said when you're not in the room, when they are not getting what they want. I've worked around them for years. I've studied them. What did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad say? Study the white man. You better study. And I studied. I'm talking about, I can bring up instances where you'll be like, damn, you remember that? Hell fucking yeah, I remember that shit. Study. Gather as much information as you can. Because the first rule of thumb, I say, I'm not going to do this because I want them to see what I've been seeing. Why would you even add him to a chain text with nothing but foundational Black Americans? A lot of other foundational Black Americans got out of the chat because they was like, once they saw he was in it, they was like, no. And I was laughing. And I started reaching out and they, like, hey man, why you in there? They're like, man, I'm not fucking with that. That messy ass white boy, man, with that bullshit. He'll fuck around and get everybody fired. And he'll still have a job. I'm laughing. I said, you can't tell these people that though. They think they know because the motherfucker child laughing with you. But when that motherfucker put that, to me, would be an anti-Black racist picture. Why would you put a picture of a motherfucker with a mugshot with his hair all over his place with a laughing emoji? Because that's how you really feel about niggas. But then you fucking turn around and say you're an ally. And after that, they was like, they were nice. Like, you know what, I'm done. And they ain't said shit since. Man, I've been laughing all day. Just looking at that, from a minute ago and it coming into play later on. I was just very patient. And I have to accredit myself to those conversations we would have at my mom's house. That 2011, 2012, 2013, man, those were critical conversations because that's what we would talk about. Man, let me tell you something. My family was ahead of their time talking about it. Don't matter if they're part of that community, they could be racist too. I've been heard my sisters and them saying that shit. That ain't nothing new to me. I've been heard them saying that shit. They used to be the main one. And don't come over here smiling with me because you LGBTQ thinking I'm gonna be cool with you because your ass still be racist. That was before I read any goddamn book. David, James John Blood. So I've been on that. So when I would have those conversations with my family on the weekends, once I would get back to work, guess what? My eyes would be like, check. You go, how you process something like, oh damn, man. My sister said this, or oh, my little sister was talking about this, or my mom was saying this, or my aunt was saying this, or we talk. You gotta learn from your family. They have the best experiences, and it's very relatable. So once I started reading and putting what I learned going to my mom's house every weekend, oh my God. Y'all just don't know. That's why I was able to just be patient. It took a while. I was like, God damn, they ain't gonna never wake up. Or this nigga ain't gonna never come out he came out the bag. And thought that shit was gonna be funny. And them sisters was like, that shit is not funny. Woo, woo, woo. These are foundational Black American sisters. And you are white. And they got their nigga wake up call, and you got your wake up whitey call, Neanderthal call, and you don't belong over here. And they ain't said shit since. And I, of course, I don't want to rub it in, but I just thought that was very interesting that I would share it with the family today, because I thought it was very, very poignant how this dominant society, LGBTQ, LMNOP, XYZ, was like, oh, I'm an ally. I'm not racist. I'm a part of the alphabet community. There's like, that don't mean you can't be racist, because that's what they think. They think they have a pass to nigga this and child and all this other shit because they done took foundational Black American women's euphemisms and talking points and what they say that's funny and catchy. And they think they can do that with our sisters. And then they can turn around and be racist. Well, that's how the United States of America is as a whole. That's why I don't care if you're part of LGBTQ. Either you on this side or you not on this side. I worked around the LGBTQ, and she was awful. She was the biggest mammy I've ever worked with in my life. Hater and mammy. To me. You know what I mean? To me. I worked around a lot of LGBTQ. White, black, Hispanic, and a lot of them come out the bag eventually if you allow them in your circle long enough. Me, no, I've never had that problem because that's one thing that I've learned from about 2012 to now. Work is work. Work is not for play, and work is not really to be meeting friends. Work is not really to be trying to socialize with everybody. Work is meant for you to get a paycheck and go home. And I think once you have that concept, you are great. But I thought, I know I went way over, but I wanted to go way over because I wanted to tell these stories because I want you to understand that. Don't think because you may be a part of that alphabet community that the dominant society alphabet community love you more than we do. That's a motherfucking lie. They don't. They will use you as a tool. And when they're done, as Erica so eloquently points out, they'll break its tool. So remember that. And they will send people amongst your inner circles, a part of that community, to chow and do all this other shit and have sisters laughing and rolling and all this other shit. And then, boom, they'll come out the bag because that dominant LGBTQ motherfucker came out the bag. And I didn't even know. I didn't really check the chain until like days after it went silent. And then I was like, damn, ain't nobody saying nothing because I've been watching them chat. I'm taking notes mentally. Like, look at how much they chat with this motherfucker. But that's okay, good. Because let's see what type of information he's going to get us. So let's see what he's going to tell us. So he was giving up a lot of information, but he didn't give a fuck because he wasn't going to be at that corporate plantation. And when he was able to get the fuck up out of there and do what the fuck he needed to do, he came out the bag. And that's how they normally are. And I've worked around several of them like that. Several of different racial groups. They'll come around as black people, not LGBTQ, just they'll come around as black people, listen to hip hop, smile with you, laugh with you, and don't tell you nothing that's been said in the room until they don't get what they want. But by that time, they didn't already got what they wanted. They went to another department and you still there, and they didn't talk shit about you to your supervisor. That's why we have to understand how the social game rules work. Slow to speak, eager to hear, get as much information as you can, and don't think because a motherfucker got Meg the dumbass performing for you that, oh, they for us. First of all, Meg Thee Stallion is the dumbest bitch I've ever fucking seen speak. He was just shooting and dance, bitch. And man, what? Where did y'all find her at? I know she ain't read no damn contract. I bet you she probably ain't even registered to vote. She just up there dancing and shaking and twerking because that's the value that they have for black folk. And I'm not saying that the Republicans have a better value for black folk, but goddamn, the Republicans wasn't gonna let no black bitch get on stage showing her public ass to nobody. So remember that. Slow to speak, eager to hear. Information is key. And stop yucking and kicking and cock-crying and all this other shit with all these other racial groups when you need to look out for your own racial group a lot of times. Unless they're telling us what's being said when we're not in the room, they're not giving up no vital information. I did a podcast about that. I did a whole podcast. Some people might look at it like, oh, you were Sanborn. No. That information that was given to me in the early stages of my career, that got me to where I'm at now. So trust me, that was vital information. That wasn't no, oh, well, you got to go to school or man, that was the first dominant society person to tell me, Warren, that school shit is a bunch of red tape for black people and for other people of other races that they don't want in positions of power. I know. She's like, that school shit is a bunch of bullshit. So I just thought I would share that with you. Leave your comments. But yes, this is a true story. It really happened. 2 different instances. And like I said before, it's very important for us to be slow to speak, eager to hear, get all the information you can. I'm sorry I went over. Guilty, nigga. Peace. I'm out. I'ma ally my ass.